In the age of digital technology, there is a widespread fascination with transitioning to digital platforms. This is primarily driven by the convenience and the capability of being accessible from virtually anywhere. Now, the Federal Reserve is introducing the central bank digital currencies, with the primary objective of enhancing the efficiency of the payment system. However, given its potential for convenience and efficiency, why are certain government members expressing resistance to this initiative? Greetings, financial wizards! Nova Society is your ticket to a prosperous future. If you still need to claim your spot in our community, make it happen and subscribe.
Yeah, just like that.
First, let us define central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs is a digital form of central bank money that is widely available to the general public. There appears to be some confusion surrounding a recent bill to prevent the Federal Reserve from issuing its CBDC. So what's happening with CBDC? The House Financial Services Committee has put forth a bill known as the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act. This bill is designed to obstruct a Federal Reserve from introducing a central bank digital currency. It's worth noting that this bill is still in its early stages and has not been enacted into law yet. Nevertheless, it has garnered substantial support, with around 60 members of Congress endorsing it. Additionally, there are sponsors including 2 bankers' associations. The bill has successfully passed through the Financial Services Committee and has been presented to the House floor. Representative Tom Emmer, a Republican from Minnesota, reintroduced the CBDC Anti-Surveillance State Act. He previously attempted to introduce it in February of this year, but it gained little attention at that time. However, this time around it's gaining more traction. Here's what the proposed legislation aims to achieve. It seeks to modify the Federal Reserve Act to explicitly forbid the Federal Reserve from issuing a central bank digital currency (CBDC) or any digital asset substantially similar, even if presented under a different name or label, directly to individual consumers. It's important to note that this pertains specifically to retail CBDCs and doesn't encompass wholesale CBDCs. To clarify, wholesale CBDCs are used by corporations and banks for settling large transactions. During his speech in the committee hearing, Representative Tom Emmer characterized a CBDC as fundamentally un-American. He also highlighted the prevailing appetite for surveillance within the United States, which isn't surprising news to anyone. The argument against CBDCs revolves around the concern that they would undermine the American way of life. Emmer raised a valid point about the potential weaponization of money by the federal government in its pursuit to not only maintain but also expand its control over the financial domain. Another Republican representative, French Hill, holds the belief that Congress would ultimately not endorse a central bank digital currency (CBDC). He believes that the Federal Reserve lacks the authority to make significant strides in developing a digital currency. According to his perspective, the Fed would need to obtain prior approval from Congress. This stance closely aligns with the viewpoint of Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, who also emphasized the necessity of Congress giving the green light for any developments in this realm. Here are some of his additional insights regarding the use of CBDC.
So what we're doing is experimenting in kind of early stage experimentation. How would this work? Does it work? What's the best technology? What's the most efficient?
But how can CBDC potentially ease financial transactions? Here's what P.T. Earle, a member of the American Institute for Economic Research, has to say.
The ability to track transactions has a couple of elements that are very attractive to economic policymakers. One is to know where people are spending their money. Another is to track taxes and prevent evasion and that sort of thing.
In addition to the advantages highlighted by Earle, central bank digital currencies can extend financial services to individuals who are presently excluded from or have limited access to traditional banking services. The reason behind this is that CBDCs can be utilized without the need for a traditional bank account. Furthermore, CBDCs can be programmed to execute a variety of functions, such as automatically disbursing government benefits or initiating payments to suppliers once specific criteria are met. This aids in the automation and enhancement of financial processes. Another key advantage of CBDCs is that they empower central banks to uphold their authority over the monetary system, since CBDCs are issued and governed by these central institutions. However, these perspectives seem to be at odds with the existence of a presidential order that is already in place directing the research and development of a CBDC, with so many people and so many things hindering the CBDC. The question is, shouldn't Congress first need to consent to the Fed's initiatives in developing and piloting a digital dollar? The Federal Reserve has already initiated a limited-scale program involving some of the largest banks in the United States. Although they haven't disclosed the results, they have indeed confirmed the commencement of these programs. With all those things happening, privacy and security are still in question, because it would seem that the government will know all your moves and the things you purchase based on your transactions using the CBDC. Here's Jim Rickards supporting this claim.
If I buy anything, the government doesn't know it. MasterCard kind of knows it, but even MasterCard uses product codes. So they don't say, Jim bought a Snickers. It says Jim bought miscellaneous merchandise at a retail place. So the government doesn't know what you're doing. But with this new central bank digital currency, they will, because they maintain the ledger. So if I buy, Ron DeSantis' new book, or I go to a Donald Trump rally, or whatever it may be, the government, using artificial intelligence and having that information, which they would, are able to profile you. They say, well, this guy kind of looks like a conservative.
As evidence, there is opposition within Congress regarding the implementation of a central bank digital currency CBDC. The primary concerns revolve around issues that are shared by all of us: transaction transparency and safeguarding privacy rights. During the Financial Committee hearing, some witnesses openly expressed support for a CBDC. For instance, a professor from Columbia Law School stated that it is the United States' responsibility to take the lead in a process that is inevitably unfolding worldwide. The key question revolves around what kind of digital protections should accompany digital fiat currency. Beyond the apprehensions regarding privacy and security, there are additional concerns that central bank digital currencies may exhibit excessive centralization, thereby granting central banks significant influence over the economy. This, in turn, raises fears about the potential misuse of this authority. Some experts are also troubled by the possibility of CBDCs introducing instability into the financial system. To illustrate, in a scenario where public trust in a CBDC erodes suddenly, there may be a collective rush among individuals to withdraw their CBDC holdings simultaneously. Such a situation could potentially trigger a bank run and will disrupt the economic order. In early September, Representative Stephen Lynch, a Democrat who serves on the Financial Committee, introduced legislation proposing an alternative version of a CBDC. His proposal outlines a digital dollar that doesn't rely on blockchain technology and allegedly includes user privacy controls, although the specifics of these controls remain unclear. Lynch's proposal centers around the Electronic Currency and Secure Hardware Cash Act, which would enable the Treasury to launch a digital dollar serving as a CBDC. Albeit not on a blockchain, the landscape still harbors many uncertainties. While there is notable support in Congress to restrict a CBDC, there are also additional discussions such as Stephen Lynch's idea to introduce eCash, which could introduce further complexities. What proactive steps would you take if CBDCs are given the green light for use? It's now your turn to assess the pros and cons of CBDCs, because if the transition to CBDCs is indeed authorized, you will find yourself devising a strategy to effectively manage your finances while safeguarding your privacy. Although we are increasingly conducting transactions online, it's important to note that the utilization of CBDCs differs significantly from other online banking services. If you want to learn more about personal finance and generational wealth building strategies, visit our channel and subscribe for more enlightening videos to increase your wealth.